Hey everyone, here we go. New packet here. All right. We are in lesson number 1 of unit number 1. All right. So get yourself into that classwork packet. Again, unit 1, lesson number 1. So technically it's a review lesson here. So maybe you've seen it, maybe you have not. So we're going to bounce around a little bit here. And then whatever I don't finish, you'll clean up here. So let's dive right in. We're talking about unit rate here. So what we want to keep in mind is this particular unit rate means how much for one. So if we know it's 420 miles in 7 hours, what we can do is, because it's a rate, we can write it out in fraction form. And that's it. A rate, we just keep things in order and you can write it out from left to right or as a fraction. Now we want to know how much it is for one. So we're going to want a 1 down here. So what do you do to a 7 to get to a 1? Well, here's the thing. With ratios, see how we've got that equal sign in between here? What that means is we're only legally allowed to do multiplication or division. So in this case, we would divide by a 7. So if we divide by a 7 in the denominator, we also have to divide by a 7 in the numerator there. So take 420, we divide it by 7, and we get 60. So labeling is important here regarding our units rates. It's 60 miles for the 1 hour. Maybe we've seen this before. Ready? Ready? I'm gonna do my best to make a street sign here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. MPH, miles per hour. So when you see that on the road, 35 MPH, whatever the case may be, hey, those are unit rates. Per means for one. So that's something we do want to keep in mind. So you might be asking, like, is it just the division problem every single time? Yeah, it is. So the 360 customers in the 30 days, you're right, we're just dividing here. And the reason why is, woo, there's a fraction bar. So that's one indicator. But let's think about it. Anytime you want to get to a 1, you just divide by itself. 30 divided by 30, yeah, that's a 1 that's there. So again, this would be kind of like the, not to say it's the longer approach there, it's the mathematical approach of showing what's going on. But if you just started kind of like, well, I'll just divide every time, it does work for unit rates. So if we divide both times by a 30, in this case, we would get ourselves a 12. So it would be 12 customers. All right, the labeling is important there in the 1 day. That's our unit rate that we're looking at. All right, so I'm going to skip down here a little bit. I'm going to leave the next 2 for you. Here we go. Question number 2. Write 3 ratios that are equivalent. Okay, so what we want to focus on here is get equivalent ratios. We've already shown that as long as you divide by the same number, it's equivalent. So if we've got the ratio of 18 to 4, okay, and again, we can write a ratio as a fraction. Well, what can you divide them both by? Well, we can divide them both by 2. So by doing that, we've got 9 to 2. That is an equivalent ratio. The other thing that we can do is if it's legal to divide, like we said earlier, that means we can also multiply. So let's just choose someone to multiply by. I can go back to the original and the 18 and use the 4, but that 18 is kind of a big number. I don't want to deal with the 18 here. So I can just use my new ratio here. So like we said, that's one of them. So how about if we multiply by 3? Okay, well, that's fine. You can choose any number to multiply by. You just have to make sure you multiply them both by the same number. So if we choose to multiply them both by 3, then we would get 27 and we get 6. Again, it's an equivalent ratio. So there's another winning answer that's there. And then how about 10? Let's multiply by 10 there. That's not bad to multiply by. I can use any of these guys. I can use the 27 over the 6, the 9 over the 2, the 18 over the 4, any of them. I'm going to go back to the 9 over 2 because, well, those numbers are the smallest. So that would give me a 90, and that would give me a 20. Again, they're all equivalent. Multiply or divide by the same number, and you've got yourself an equivalent ratio. That's there. All right. So next question, they want you to figure out if they are equivalent. So we can do two different things here. One, we could find the unit rate, or two, we could simplify them and see if we do end up getting the exact same number there. So there's the 16 homework papers and the 14 exit slips. All right. And then there's the 64 homework with the 60 exit slips. So what you can do here is you can simplify both of them, see if you get the same answer, or you could find the unit rates and see if you get the same answer. I'll let you finish that one up. All right. I'm going to let you try 4, and then I'm going to jump in here into 5 here. And what we want to look at here is they want to know, are the ratios the same? So again, go back to it. You can simplify it and find what it, how do I phrase that? Let me rewind that there. You can simplify both of your ratios. If you simplify them all the way down and they're the same, you're good. Or like we said, you can just go back and find the unit rate, and then you can make that particular comparison that's there. Let me see what else we want to go with here. Let's go to question number 7 here. All right, we'll finish up with 7 here, and then I'll let you clean up what's in between there. It says each year Lizzie's school purchases student agenda books, which are sold in the school store. This year, the school purchased 350 books at a cost of $1,137.50. If the school would like to make a $1,500 profits to help pay for the field trip and school activities, what is the least amount they can charge for each agenda book? Explain how you found your answer. Okay, explain, show work, all those types of things. So let's see here. This year, the school purchased 350, so at a cost for it. If the school would like to make a profit of $1,500, all right, what is the least amount they can charge for each agenda book? Now, again, the least, because what you could just say here is, why don't we just $1,000 for each book? Well, yeah, that would work, but again, we know that's not a realistic answer. And again, they want to know what's the least amount that you can deal with here. So we can involve some unit rate here. All right. So they've got 350 of them. They want to make the 1,500 of them. So let's see here. Can we do 1,500 divided by 350? Sorry, that's really bad. 5, that's there. Let's try that again there. All right. Let's see what happens here when we do that. I'm going to reach for my calculator here. So I'm going to divide by 350. 1,500 divided by 350. And I get 4.2. I gotta make sure I'm looking at here. 4.2857. All right, we can just kind of stop there. We're gonna be dealing with money here. Oops. 4.2. All right, 857. Okay, I got it that time there. So the idea here is $4. And if we round that, that's going to be $4.29. So the idea here is $4.29. Okay, so let's see, 429. That would be for each book. That would get us to $1,500. But wait a second. They want to make a profit of $1,500. Whoa, profit of it. Wait a second. So that's not how. Oh, so we need to add on. They've spent this much. They want to make this much. All right. So they're really talking about, if we add this up together, a 7, a 3, a 6. So really what they want to do here is they want to bring in this much money for the 350 books. So now I can take this and divide it here. So let's see here. So 2,637, also known as 2,637, $7.50. Let's divide that by the 350, and we get, let me kind of just, all right, we get a 7.5357 that's there. So that would be $7.54. I'm going to the next place value, so the five's going to make me round up. So $7.54 for each of them. So yeah, so let's see this here. If I take that $7.54, the idea is if I multiply by the 350, that's going to bring in 2639. All right. And that would, if we look at it, that would get up to our, so yeah, there we go. Now, if you notice here, kind of just was like, writing stuff, and that's fine. The idea though is that if we use an inequality, we can get there that much faster as we go through them here. So the idea here is, if we kind of go back to it, listen, we don't know how much it's going to cost for each book. But when we add on what we've spent for them as well, we want that to be greater than $1,500 that we're looking at here. So, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, wait. And this is where I like doing this, where you can see the thought process go through and notice the adjustment to make it. Wait a second. This would be times the amount, but we have to take away because of we've already spent that much money that's there. All right. And now what you're going to end up seeing is when I solve it, I'm going to add it on over, and there's the addition problem. And then I'm going to divide by the 350. There's my division. So again, just to kind of show you, we would like you to keep on using this. All right. But at the same time, yeah, let's let your math mind work here. I have no issues with that. Okay, people, fill in anything that was left over there. So as you kind of go through it there, fill in the gaps. That's what you're taking care of for today. All right, we'll see you guys. Enjoy.